Counting is now underway in all US states after today's midterm elections. Data analyst Casey Briggs is keeping across the important contests. And Casey, the first figures from Nevada are in.
Yeah, it's getting into the wee hours of the morning, at least in Washington, D.C. And we've only just started getting figures from one state that's been conspicuously empty, and that is the state of Nevada in the Senate. What was happening there is the polls did close, but there were lines outside polling places for quite some time, and the state decided not to report any figures until everyone had finished voting. So what's happened is they have started reporting them, and it's very quickly climbed to more than a third of the vote counted. This is one of the key Senate races that we've been talking about through the day. The Democrat incumbent is in a good position at this point. Only a third of the vote counted, and we know Nevada, from experience from 2 years ago, can take quite a long time to get through all of its votes. But, you know, a promising beginning, at least, for the candidate for the Democrats in the state of Nevada. They would be very much hoping to retain that position if they wanted to keep control in the Senate. More on the Senate in a second. I just want to flip and talk about the lower house, though, the House of Representatives, because the Republicans by this point would have been hoping that they would be celebrating a big win there and having taken control of the House. They are not there yet. 185 is what we've got them at. There are 102 seats in doubt, so they need another 30, just over 30 seats in order to win the balance of power in the lower house. I just want to add some likely seats in, seats that we think are almost certain to go one way or the other. That does get the GOP over 200, another 50 seats remaining. Pretty competitive at this stage. So a red wave doesn't look like it. Maybe they still get there, probably still favourites to get there and take control of the House, but you would not write the Democrats off, and I think a very strong chance we're not going to know who controls the lower house today as well. And the Senate, similarly, probably won't know who controls the Senate at the end of counting today. There is quite a bit more to be done there. There are 5 key races we're watching going into this election. This was 50-50. Democrats defending Nevada, defending Arizona, defending Georgia, defending Pennsylvania, and defending New Hampshire. At the moment, we have a call in New Hampshire. The Democrats have won there. It's very, very close in Georgia, and in Arizona, the Democrat is ahead as well. These are the seats that are most likely to determine who controls that. And one of the ones we really do need to talk about is this fascinating race, Pennsylvania. In the red corner, a doctor and TV star first introduced to America on its most famous talk show.
Dr. Oz has been wanting to talk about this miracle of modern medicine for years.
Dr. Mehmet Oz won the Republican nomination narrowly with the help of former President Trump.
And who is with our MAGA movement all the way. He's with us all the way.
A controversial nomination.
And now I've got the #1 miracle in a bottle to burn your fat.
Let's start by talking about how the bladder and the brain talk to each other.
And, more recently, pushing unproven COVID treatments.
Less fever, less cough, and less pneumonia problems.
Turns out, Dr. Oz owns stock in the company that supplies hydroxychloroquine. He's up against the guy in the blue corner, all 6'8" of him, Democrat John Fetterman. Fetterman sits on the left of the Democrats. He backed Bernie Sanders for president. He started well ahead of Dr. Oz in the polls, casting him as a wealthy out-of-towner.
How many homes does Dr. Oz have? We make steel. In New Jersey, Dr. Oz makes crudité.
But Mr. Fetterman's had a difficult campaign. He suffered a severe stroke in May that pulled him off the campaign trail for 3 months and left him with difficulty speaking and understanding, something that was clear during the pair's debate.
And fighting for all forgotten communities all across Pennsylvania that also got knocked down, that needs to get back up.
But John, because obviously I wasn't clear enough for you to understand this.
Medical experts and Fetterman's doctors say he's fit to serve, but Democrats are increasingly nervous about the race. Pennsylvania is their best chance of flipping a red state blue in the Senate. If they want to keep control, they might need it to offset a loss elsewhere. One of those crucial states. Let's have a look at the figures in Pennsylvania, because Dr. Mehmet Oz, I think, is in some pretty tough difficulty here. We have 83.8% of the state counted, and John Fetterman, nearly half the vote, 49.5%, about 1.4 percentage points ahead of Dr. Oz. I think he is in a very good position, John Fetterman, to win that seat. That would become actually a flip, a Democrat win from the Republicans. And the reason I say that is because we expect there are a lot of early votes yet to come, and they, as they did in 2020, are probably going to favour the Democrats. And the fact that he is ahead right now, even before those days of counting that we are going to see in the days and even longer ahead, because he's ahead, I think he is a very, very strong chance of picking up that seat, which would mean Dr. Mehmet Oz has probably, this is not a projection, but probably failed in his bid to win that seat. But there's someone else I would like to get his take on this seat as well. This Senate race is a crucial Senate race, and that's Chaz Licciardello from Planet America. Chaz, thanks for coming down.
No problems.
What do you think of what we're seeing, first of all, in Pennsylvania, and then we can look at the rest of the country?
Look, I agree with your almost call. I think definitely Fetterman's. I mean, I'm ready to concede that I was wrong, because I said it was going to be the Republicans are going to win Pennsylvania, and they're not going to, because like you said, very strong blue tail, both in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. But in Wisconsin, I think the Republican is far enough ahead they might be able to outlast the blue tail. In Pennsylvania, they're starting with the Democrats ahead before the blue tail comes. So, yeah, I think Fetterman's got that one. And that's really important, because what the Democrats don't want is to have to go through the runoff in Georgia in order to keep the Senate. They want to try and just sew that up before the runoff, because apart from 2020, when they won the runoff in Georgia, they won the runoff in Georgia the day before January 6th. Okay, they were very special circumstances. Trump was making all kinds of trouble. I think off the top of my head, the Democrats have never won a runoff, or maybe one in history before then. So runoffs are hard for them to win in Georgia. They don't want to do that. They need Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Nevada to keep the Senate while avoiding that. So Pennsylvania is massive, and then we move to Nevada and Arizona, which is very, very important.
And we should say that, it does look likely that Georgia may well end up going to a runoff. There's a bit more counting to happen there, but no candidate is over 50% at the moment. Yeah. Chaz, are you surprised that at this point in the count, we have not been able to say that either side has taken control of either of the chambers of the Congress?
Look, I'm not surprised that we haven't been able to make a call right now. I am surprised it's looking like we won't be able to make a call, at least on the House today, at any point in time. I expected it to be a lot less close than this. And when you project forward, looking forward, once again, you're being very careful, and I understand why, but I have no responsibility whatsoever. So I can say it's looking like it's going to end up being low single digits, the margin in the end, which is way less, way closer than anyone expected, I think. So that's been a huge surprise. In the House I'm talking about. In the Senate, God knows how long that's going to take.
Yeah, we'll be here for quite some time.
Yes.
There are lots and lots of people on the ballot, Republican nominees on the ballot, that have questioned or denied the results of the election. One of the most high-profile ones, sets of races, are in the state of Arizona. The governor race in Arizona in particular. Kari Lake has, on the counting that's been happened so far, the numbers we've seen so far, is behind in that race. Before I get your take on it, she did speak at her campaign party a little while ago. I just want to bring you that first.
If we have to fight through the BS and the garbage, then we will fight through the BS and the garbage. But how do you get fair and free elections? You have to fight and win to make them fair and free. And we needed another stark reminder that we have incompetent people running the show in Arizona. Who is ready for a change?
Incompetent people running the show in Arizona. Who's ready for a change? What do you make of that?
Look, that's not new from her. She said that there was voter fraud in her primary after she won. So she doesn't mind claiming voter fraud, and there was that snafu earlier on in the day with the printer ink issues. Doesn't appear to have made any difference, but that's not going to stop her, especially if she loses. And at this point in time, it's not looking good. She's running behind where Trump was in pretty much every county, and Trump, as you know, just lost. So she's not looking great at the moment. And so she's going to take it all the way. I think you can expect her to do that. That's her brand.
When you say all the way through the courts?
Oh,
or?
yeah, she's going to the Supreme Court. She's
Court.
going all the way. Assuming she loses, she's not going to give up. This is actually a big deal for Republicans in general, because I don't think Australians realise how many of them have really high hopes for Carrie Lake. They really see her as a future leader, potentially future president. So they're not going to let her go in a hurry. So she'll get backing, and she will take this as far as she can go.
Before we let you go, Chaz, the way elections in America work is before you finish the current one, you're already talking about the next one,
yes.
The 2024 presidential race. Donald Trump's probably going to announce his candidacy next week. How do you think he's looking at these results?
Well, really, Donald Trump, the way he looks at things, it depends on one person only, and that's Ron DeSantis. Because I personally think, and I think this is what he thinks as well, it's going to be harder for him to win the nomination than it is to win the presidency if he wins the nomination in 2024. Ron DeSantis is a really tough opponent. And if you can take away one thing from tonight, it's the election of Ron DeSantis. Like, he pretty much across America. He's
done very well in Florida.
Pretty much across America, the Democrats have done way better than people expected, except for in Florida, where the Republicans smashed the Democrats, like by 15 points in supposedly 50-50 seats. So Ron DeSantis has done really well for himself. I don't think he's going to declare straight away, but Trump knows he's coming. So this is not good news for Trump at this point in time.
All right, Chaz, I will let you go, but just quickly before you do, you've got a big Planet America special coming up at 9 o'clock tonight.
We do.
What have you got planned?
All right, well, hopefully we'll be able to make a couple of extra calls, because I know you're not going away, thank God.
It's a long night.
Yeah, you can help us out, because there's a lot more vote counting to be done. Hopefully we'll have some idea about the House, and we'll try and begin to break down exactly what went weird, because something went weird in this election. There's a lot of big surprises.
Chaz, thank you. We'll see you at 9 o'clock. Kirsten, back to you. If something's gone weird, we're going to be here for quite some time by the looks of it. There's a lot of counting still to be done.
Okay, looking forward to those constant updates. But for now, Casey Briggs, thank you.